Hey, what's going on? Well, my name is John Ting. I practice law in all 50 states of America. Welcome to Green Card Guys TV. I'm here to answer any of your questions, helping you solve your immigration problem and maybe even prevent it from happening in the first place. Now, the topic of today is, can I adopt my stepchild? And most likely the answer is yes, but it depends on several things, okay? And the first thing really is um, if the child is in the US or outside America. Now, most people, when they think of the word, they use the word adoption. That usually comes to, at least in my mind, the formal adoption process through USCIS, which is quite complicated and actually pretty expensive because typically you have to go through a agency to do this. Okay, you can still, of course, use a hire immigration lawyer for the immigration part of it, but it's just a lot of steps involved with adopting someone who's outside of America. But let's say this video is more so about for a child who is already here in the United States. Now, for immigration purposes, specifically USCIS, there is no adult adoption. You cannot adopt an adult for immigration purposes. You can certainly do that through the family court, but at least in Texas, but you can't do that through USCIS for immigration benefit, aka the green card. All right. Hey, Patty, what's going on? Nice to see you. Hopefully, everything's going well with you and your family. But yeah, let me share with you now. So, the typical scenario that people ask about, and that the purpose of this video today is, if let's say you recently got married, or maybe several years ago, and the spouse you married, whether they were in a marriage before or had boyfriend, girlfriend, married out of wedlock, but they have a child, okay, and the child's under. There's two things about, before I say the age, there's two things you need to know about age, okay, and that is your marriage with the spouse had to have happened before that child turned 18 years old, okay. That marriage relationship had to have happened maybe through the court. For example, most people get married through a court, depending on if you have whether you not have a religion or not. But I know there's several different ways to get married, of course, or through the church, um, or temple. Of course, depends on religion. But let's say, so 18, you gotta get married. If your spouse has a child, make sure that you get married before 18, because there's actually, I know it's strange I say this, but most people think only about your spouse who doesn't have status, and you got to think about the whole family. Okay, now if you're a U.S. citizen, you have to file a separate petition for that child. But I share this for many tips, but really the main one, I know I talk about the age, but it really boils down to get your act together. Okay, file it as soon as possible, because not just file, but you need to get married, because several people call us and say, John, we're ready to go. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's say the spouse is abroad and they're engaged right now only. Of course, we recommend not to do the fiance visa. Of course, everyone's circumstances is different, but we recommend to do it through marriage, because that tends to be a little bit faster. Okay, at least with the petition process and the visa interview. And who knows? By the time you watch this video, like next year, 2024, it could change back to before the pandemic. But right now, 2023, marriage visa cases, aka the green card, that pathway is faster if the person's abroad. But specific to this video, back to about child, but you have to get married before the child turns 18. And the thing is, several other people call us and they're asking these questions, and we ask, hey, well, how long have you been dating? How long have you been together? And they say, oh, like so long, maybe like 5 years plus. And us lawyers, we're not trying we normally don't tell you, hey, you need to get married, because, I don't want to, that's not our topic, right? That's on you guys. Yeah, it's on y'all. So, but since I'm on a live show, I'm not talking to anyone specific. You want to get your act together, okay, folks? Get it. If you already living together, living your life out as spouses, okay? It doesn't matter which gender relationship. If you're living together as spouses, partners, and you're holding it out to the world, okay, whoever you meet or come across, your friends, your family, then get legally married. Don't wait on it. And especially, again, back to the topic of today, can I adopt my stepchild? Okay. I say adopt, but really I'm talking about, can I file a petition? Can I sponsor my stepchild? All right. And so now another thing you need to know is that in case the stepchild turned 18, you might be thinking, well, shoot, is it too late? Is it too late to file for them, even though they're 18? Well, as long as long as you got married before the child turns 18, then the second thing you need to look at, and let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. Okay. Is that, let's see here. Share my screen. Okay, so I can share my screen on YouTube and Facebook. Hopefully it's large enough. We can see here the green card, the pathway, green card for immediate relatives of U.S. citizen. So again, this is whether you're in the U.S., the foreign nationals in the U.S., or outside America. There's 3 different relationships. The most common one, of course, spouse is a U.S. citizen. Okay, your sponsor is a U.S. citizen, and then, any of these, your sponsor is a U.S. citizen. But the relationship type, one is a spouse. The second one that's relevant to today's topic is your unmarried child under 21. So I know it's strange because I don't know. At least in America, the age for someone being an adult is 18. Okay, maybe in other countries actually younger than that. I don't know. I know people. There's all these videos about people in Japan. Their little kids are walking by themselves. I think that's pretty amazing. Um, but yeah, America's a different beast in that sense about safety, unfortunately, or lack of safety. And anyway, the third one is if you're a U.S. citizen child, but you're over 21, you can sponsor your parent. Okay. So, but again, today is, I know it may sound strange, but some people are like, maybe give up because they're like, oh man, my kid's 19. There's a cutoff. Well, the cutoff is not 18. The cutoff is 21 to actually sponsor for immigration purposes. But the cutoff to get married for your stepchild is 18 years old. So that often gets confused. But yeah, I just want to share that with y'all. And let's see what else I can share with you. But yeah, happy to answer any questions for y'all. Okay, drop it in the comment section. And by the way, if y'all didn't know, we do offer free 15 minutes preliminary discussion. We're happy to point you in the right direction. I just hopped in on one on myself today, actually. And the person had questions about if they need a joint sponsor, if they needed to show assets. They were concerned about their lower income for the previous years. The person actually had sufficient income for this year. Sufficient meaning above the minimum poverty guidelines that USCIS uses, which our team will drop a link after the show as a comment so y'all can take a look at it if needed. But yeah, I provide a reassurance that they're okay. They can do it. His income is enough. So yeah, I know it's strange because the 864 form asks questions about the prior years. But you have to answer that question, but you don't actually, they're not using it against people if you have lower income from the prior year. So that's okay. No worries there. So we're happy to point you in the right direction for something like that, but it'll be a pleasure to assist you from start to finish. Absolutely. But you don't have to feel like you have to hire us if you're just asking a question like this, for example. Now, if you're asking a question like about EB5 or something that obviously is more complex, then we do request. And even like if you have questions about your criminal record, you do have to pay for a consultation fee. Okay, for me, I think it's $199 for 30 minutes. But in my team, my associates, $149 for 30 minutes. But just want to give the idea. At the end of the day, ultimately, overall, we offer free 15 minutes. But in certain situations, our cares team will have to say, well, you don't qualify for the free 15 minutes. But there's limited situations for that. Okay, or otherwise, on on our website, we do have free information. Okay, in the form of a guide. Okay, you can click on greencardguides.com, scroll all the way down. You can take a look at free guides. Mandamus for lawsuits is an example of that. We have other free ones right here. Check it out. Okay, investor visa, family-based, or for employers. All right, greencardguides.com. Let's see, any questions? You guys are shy today. Maybe because I go live every day almost. All right, let's see here. But you also want to show you. Okay, let me add to this onto the screen here. Okay, on YouTube and Facebook, well, in general, I like to share the proof of what I'm talking about if I can. And the definition of child, back to today's topic, is can I adopt my stepchild, or can I file for residency for my stepchild? And generally, yes. And here's a definition of child. It can be stepchild. You don't have to be the biological parent if you're the sponsor. But in terms of like this last sentence I say here, basically, can my stepchild obtain citizenship, or naturalization through your citizenship? And it's not a direct path. You have to go through residency. And so that's why that word adopt is really for people who are outside the U.S. But if it's not related to your spouse's child, okay, basically like going through orphanage, or not, it doesn't even have to be orphanage, or it could be your sibling's child or something. You have to go through the adoption process because the government wants to make sure that it's not a fraudulent thing going on. Maybe not just yourself, but as an applicant, the adoptive parent, but also what's going on in that country. So it's just many steps involved. We're happy to share that in a different video for a different time. But if you have questions about it, you're welcome to contact us anyway. So here it is on YouTube and Facebook. You can check it out on my number right above here. Okay. But let's see, back to the screen here, share my screen. Definition of child that may slightly depend if the sponsor is a U.S. citizen mother or father. Okay, so you have to take a look at that. We'll share a link to that as well after the show. Let's see here. Okay, any questions so far? You guys are shy. Okay, well, some success stories that have been happening recently in the past week or so. Let me pull it up. We have a channel with that on with our team. Okay, folks. So someone just authorized us. Someone just hired us for a mandamus lawsuit. Okay, if you've been following our channel for a while, you probably already know about this. But mandamus lawsuit is the solution when someone has been suffering a delay on their case. Now, look, if you just filed it 2 months ago, that's normal for it to still processing. That doesn't mean there's a delay. However, and it depends on the application type or case type that you filed. Let's say you filed for naturalization, okay, to become a U.S. citizen. That person that just hired us for that, thank you so much. We're happy to help you. I believe they've been waiting for at least 2 years. Okay, 2 years. And it could be waiting a long time for different stages of the case. It could be that you filed the application and then waiting for 2 years for the interview. Or it could have been like, for example, you already had the interview and you're waiting more than 120 days. I know it's strange. I just said 2 years for a different scenario, but for naturalization to become a U.S. citizen, it actually states in the USCIS policy manual that you can sue them in 2 years, in 120 days. I know, it's crazy. totally crazy. Let me see if I can find it for you. Mhm. So yeah, but it says it in there, so you don't have to wait. I know that many people are hesitant to do this. Many of my colleagues filed mandamus lawsuit, and yeah, we get results. So I mean, it'd be our pleasure to assist you, but it doesn't have to be us. There's plenty of good lawyers out there to help with mandamus, but just don't wait. A lot of people contact us, message us on YouTube, all these different platforms, and they share how long they've been waiting. And hopefully money is not a concern, because I hate to say unfortunately, but yeah, you have to hire a lawyer for these lawsuits because you have to. I personally think that you'll be wasting your time if you try to file it yourself. In this situation, because the U.S. attorneys are not. I can't speak for every U.S. attorney, but I imagine they prefer that you have a lawyer involved so it can make it as smooth as possible for them. Because by the time we negotiate and start talking with each other, they know what to expect from us, and we have a certain expectation for them as well, for the information we need. So that kind of give you an idea. But yeah, we've been doing this for a while now, and especially the pandemic made it worse. So even though everyone's acting like pandemic's not active anymore, with of course, including myself, without a mask, um, the government still has backlogs. And yes, you might be frustrated because you're hearing all these news, especially from us as well in our live shows and our videos that we talk about, like green card cases through spouses specifically being processed for approval without an interview. And not just that, but processed within like average 3 to 5 months, all the way to the end without an interview. So I know you could be watching this and very, very frustrated. Like you're saying, well, I filed my case like more than a year ago. What the heck is going on? Or I filed it 2 years ago. So I know it's very frustrating. Every USCIS field office does something differently internally. I know at least for Dallas and Houston specifically, they've been emailing us like an auto email asking for the medical exam. And so you might be frustrated when you get that email, but please don't. Be happy. Have good vibes, okay? Be happy because it's an auto trigger email. It's basically something in their system. I mean, first of all, they've never done this until like 2 months ago, at least. Um, it's a new thing. So please be appreciative, okay? Be happy that you're getting this email because some people, when they receive this email, they are thinking to themselves, and also us, they're like, we want to double check we mailed the medical exam for this client. And so we've had a couple of clients say, what the hell, John? How come they didn't have my medical exam? Don't worry, they still have it. But because they did this auto email doesn't mean they actually looked at your file. Okay. And I know it's strange that they're doing that. Well, I would think they have looked at it. They definitely look at it after they receive your medical. So we just had another success story is that when we mailed in the medical exam most recently, I think like April 8th or something. Okay, I'm looking at the calendar, April 7th. And there was 2 clients that got it that USCIS field office received it April 7th. Field office and the service center, actually. They received it April 7th, and the email notification, it was approved on April 7th and also the following Monday, April 10th. So that's quick. That's hella quick, folks. So don't play around, okay? Don't get frustrated. Don't play around and delay your filing. And also don't get frustrated if you think they lost your medical exam. Pro tip here, talk to your medical provider again and ask if they're willing to provide another copy in a sealed envelope for free. They might do it. They might charge you a little bit. But honestly, if money's not really a concern, just pay for it, even if it's like $100, $200, okay, for their inconvenience of printing it again. I don't know. Whatever it is, their copy fee. Because you're going to, in this case example, USCIS received it April 7th, and they gave a decision the same day. Don't wait around because we gave like in these scenarios where clients received the auto email, we gave like at least three different options. Wait and see if we receive the paper notice for a medical exam. But if we do wait and see, how long are we waiting? Right? We have no idea. We could say, because this is a new thing, maybe it could be like another month, a couple more weeks, to receive that physical RFE, courtesy RFE, basically. The other scenario option was mail in another copy if you can. So if you can get another copy. But yeah, some people that received this email, they didn't actually provide a medical exam because they just wanted it filed as soon as possible. And that's what we offer to people, to clients. But another scenario is that people, the reason I mean is because maybe need to get the work permit, travel, because I can recall at least one client said that they were in the wedding party in, I think, Dominican Republic or one of those islands one of those countries, I'm sorry, outside America. And so wanted to see if we can get it approved sooner than later. And in fact, I believe they got the green card before the work permit and the advance parole. So who would have known? Who would have known? But that's what's going on these days. That's the latest trend with USCIS. So again, if you're delaying filing, maybe not delaying on purpose, right? But you're waiting on XYZ document, or you're just waiting for, waiting on funds. I get that. You got to save money for that. But, if you're waiting for other reasons, give us a call. Maybe you don't need to wait, actually. We actually have given tips on that, to how you can get around that situation and provide it later. So medical exam is part of it. There's been one scenario where I've heard about someone saying that they got denied, not through us. Well, they didn't hire us until later, but they got denied because they didn't provide the 864 form. Okay, but that's typically not a reason to deny people. Okay, they usually get an RFE, so that was a fluke. But in this situation, for medical exam, if you do not provide it right now, and probably because the medical clinics usually take at least a week on average to get the medical exam for you, if you can't wait that long, then or just that 1 week, then I understand that you need to provide it later. Okay, because that's a requirement. Health, the part of the inadmissibility grounds, health reasons is one of them. So that's why you have to get the medical exam. Let's see here. Okay, folks. Well, you guys are shy today. I'm going to jump off tomorrow. I should be on LinkedIn. So if you want to learn about more business related options, join us on LinkedIn tomorrow. We'll be back on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram on Thursday, folks. Okay. I wish you all the best, and give us a call if you have any questions. Take care now.